Most people think leadership is all about confidence, making tough decisions, and being in charge. But here's a shocking truth. The most important leadership skill is rarely talked about. It's not about being the loudest or the smartest in the room. In fact, 70% of leaders fail to engage their teams because they lack this skill. And no, it's not about being a great communicator or delegating tasks perfectly. It's about something deeper. What if I told you that vulnerability could make you a stronger leader? Or that listening could double your team's productivity? Leaders who don't master this hidden skill risk burnout, low morale, and missed opportunities. This skill isn't just useful, it's a game changer. In the next chapters, we'll dive into the secret skills that separate average leaders from extraordinary ones. From emotional intelligence to knowing when to stay silent, these strategies aren't commonly discussed but could completely transform the way you lead. Stay tuned, because what you're about to learn will challenge everything you thought you knew about leadership. Ready to take your leadership to the next level? Let's get started. Chapter 1. The Power of Vulnerability. Leading with realness. Leadership today is often equated with strength and confidence, but there's an underrated skill that leaders don't always talk about: vulnerability. The idea of showing vulnerability in leadership may seem risky, but it's actually one of the most powerful tools a leader can have. Brené Brown, a researcher and author, spent years studying vulnerability and leadership. She found that leaders who embrace vulnerability create deeper trust within their teams. When leaders show that they're not perfect and can admit mistakes, it builds authenticity. According to a 2021 study by Gallup, employees who feel that their leaders are authentic are 22% more likely to be engaged in their work. Vulnerability also fosters open communication. When a leader admits they don't have all the answers, it encourages others to speak up and contribute ideas. The key here is authenticity. When leaders show they're human, it allows others to connect on a personal level. Research from Harvard Business Review supports this idea, showing that teams are more innovative when their leaders are authentic and transparent. In fact, vulnerability can be a competitive advantage, helping leaders attract loyal followers who value trust and honesty. A leader who admits they don't know everything makes space for others to step up, creating an environment of collaboration. Leaders who practice vulnerability aren't seen as weak, they're seen as courageous. It's about showing you're human, and that's what builds genuine connections. When leaders are vulnerable, they invite empathy and trust into the workplace, which can boost team morale and drive results. Chapter 2. The Art of Listening. Turning silence into strategy. We often hear that leaders need to be great speakers, but what about great listeners? Listening isn't just about hearing words, it's about paying attention and truly understanding what's being said. According to a 2019 study by the Center for Creative Leadership, leaders who are good listeners are 44% more likely to inspire trust among their teams. Listening is a skill that requires patience and focus, but it's incredibly powerful. When a leader listens actively, they learn more about their team's needs and concerns. It also gives them the opportunity to spot new ideas that may have otherwise been missed. One of the most effective strategies is reflective listening, paraphrasing what someone has said to confirm understanding. This simple technique builds rapport and shows that you value the speaker's input. Listening also fosters an inclusive culture. When employees feel heard, they're more likely to contribute their best ideas. In fact, a study by Salesforce revealed that 86% of employees feel more engaged when their leaders listen to them. Listening allows leaders to gather critical information and make better decisions. Leaders who listen well are better at conflict resolution, as they can understand both sides of an issue. It's also key in building strong, meaningful relationships. The next time you're in a conversation, try focusing more on listening than talking. It could lead to a breakthrough idea. Sometimes the best solutions come from simply being quiet and allowing others to share their thoughts freely. Quick reminder: if you're enjoying these tips, make sure to hit the subscribe button. You won't want to miss the next chapters filled with game-changing leadership strategies. Chapter 3. Emotional Intelligence. Leading from the heart, not the head. Emotional intelligence, EQ, is one of the most important leadership skills, but it's often overlooked. EQ is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage emotions, both your own and others. In a 2017 study by TalentSmart, they found that 90% of top performers in the workplace have high emotional intelligence. Leaders with high EQ can create positive work environments, handle stress better, and navigate difficult conversations more effectively. They're also able to motivate and inspire their teams in ways that leaders with low EQ simply cannot. One important strategy is self-awareness. Leaders need to understand their own emotional triggers to avoid overreacting in stressful situations. Another key component of EQ is empathy, understanding how others feel and showing that you care. Research shows that when leaders demonstrate empathy, employee engagement increases by 60%. Furthermore, EQ helps leaders manage conflict. Leaders with high emotional intelligence can de-escalate tense situations and find common ground, leading to more harmonious work environments. It also allows leaders to make better decisions by considering how their choices will impact the emotions and well-being of their team. Leaders who prioritize EQ tend to have stronger relationships with their teams, which translates to higher productivity and morale. Whether it's handling a difficult client or calming a frustrated employee, emotional intelligence is the tool that makes great leaders stand out. If you're finding this valuable, don't forget to subscribe for more leadership insights coming your way. Chapter 4. The Hidden Power of Silence. Leading without words. We often think that leadership requires constant communication, but sometimes silence is the most powerful tool. Silence allows leaders to gather their thoughts, reflect, and provide space for others to speak. In fact, research from the University of Minnesota found that silence in meetings can increase group creativity by 20%. Leaders who allow for moments of quiet create a calm, focused atmosphere where deep thinking and problem-solving can occur. Silence also encourages others to contribute. When a leader is quiet, it signals to the team that their opinions matter. Instead of filling every pause with words, effective leaders know when to step back and let the conversation flow. Sometimes, the most impactful leadership moments come not from what is said, but from what isn't. For example, a well-timed pause after a tough question can encourage more thoughtful responses from others. Silence also offers a chance to listen actively, process information, and respond strategically. Leaders who are comfortable with silence show confidence, as they don't feel the need to constantly fill the air with chatter. By embracing silence, leaders can cultivate more meaningful and productive conversations. It also allows teams to engage in more reflective and creative thinking, especially during brainstorming sessions. The next time you're in a leadership role, try allowing for a few moments of silence. It could open up new avenues of thought. Chapter 5. The Courage to Step Back. Leadership through Delegation. Delegation is one of the most important leadership skills, yet many leaders struggle to let go of control. But here's the truth. The most effective leaders don't try to do everything themselves. They know when to delegate and trust their team to take the lead. According to a survey by the American Management Association, 82% of successful leaders say that effective delegation is a key part of their leadership style. Delegation isn't just about offloading tasks. It's about empowering others to grow and develop their skills. Leaders who delegate give their team members opportunities to take ownership of projects and make decisions. This not only boosts team morale but also increases overall productivity. A great delegation strategy is to align tasks with individuals' strengths. When people are working on tasks that play to their strengths, they perform better and feel more confident. Delegation also frees up the leader's time to focus on higher-level strategic priorities. When leaders hold on to everything, they risk burnout and stifling their team's potential. Leaders who trust their teams can create an environment where innovation thrives. In fact, according to Gallup, organizations with high levels of trust between leaders and employees have 2.5 times the revenue growth of those with low trust. Delegation isn't about giving up control. It's about sharing responsibility and giving others the chance to shine. Chapter 6. Radical Patience. Why waiting is the ultimate leadership skill. In a world that values speed and instant results, patience may seem counterintuitive. However, patience is one of the most powerful leadership skills you can cultivate. Leaders who understand the importance of timing know when to act and when to wait. A study by the University of California found that leaders who practice patience are better at making strategic decisions that lead to long-term success. Patience allows leaders to observe, gather information, and make well-thought-out decisions rather than rushing into action. In fact, according to a report by McKinsey, companies with patient, long-term leadership strategies outperform those that prioritize short-term gains by 30%. One key aspect of radical patience is the ability to trust the process. Sometimes, the best decision is to wait for the right moment. Leaders who are patient can also give their teams the time they need to develop and succeed. This not only leads to better outcomes but fosters a sense of trust and security within the team. Radical patience also means letting go of the need for immediate results and understanding that some things take time to unfold. Leaders who practice patience set a positive example for their teams, showing that it's okay to be thoughtful and deliberate. Ultimately, radical patience is a form of wisdom, knowing when to act and when to let things evolve naturally. Thanks for sticking with me through this. If you haven't subscribed yet, now is a great time to do so for more powerful leadership insights coming your way.